Have you ever felt that strange sadness creep in on Sunday afternoon? The sky is still bright, your phone is buzzing, maybe there's food in the oven, but something heavy drops into your chest. The quiet shows up, and suddenly every question you've been avoiding sits down at your table. What am I doing with my life? Why does tomorrow feel like a wall I can't climb? You look for a distraction, any distraction, and the more you scroll, the emptier you feel. If that's you, this isn't weakness. It's a message. Viktor Frankl had a name for it. He called it the Sunday Neurosis. He noticed it long before TikTok, long before open floor offices and endless emails. It's the feeling that hits when the noise dies and you're left alone with the truth. Without a pull of meaning, free time doesn't feel free. It feels like falling. Frankl believed we're not driven by pleasure or power as much as we are pulled by meaning. When meaning goes missing, we don't just feel bored, we feel lost. And Sunday exposes it. Let me say it clearly. You are not broken for feeling this. Your sadness is pointing. It's a sign that your life wants direction, not another distraction. Frankl survived the worst of human cruelty and came back with a simple, stubborn message. Even when we cannot choose our circumstances, we can choose our response. Even in pain, we can find a purpose that steadies us. So what does that look like on a Sunday when your stomach knots and the sun starts dipping low? First, understand the signal. The Sunday neurosis isn't proof that your whole life is wrong. It's proof that your soul doesn't like to be idle without meaning. Think of a compass. When you hold it still, the needle doesn't sleep. It keeps searching, twitching, aligning. Your inner needle wants a direction to point toward. On weekdays, the rush and the lists and the noise point it for you. But on Sunday, the needle is naked. If it doesn't have a true north, it spins. That spinning feels like sadness. Frankl offered 3 pathways to meaning. Not feelings, not slogans. Paths, he called them. By creating a work or doing a deed. By experiencing something or encountering someone. And by the attitude we take toward unavoidable suffering. Let's translate that into Sunday language. If Sunday sadness is the compass spinning, these 3 paths give it north. Path 1, creating or doing. Before your Sunday begins, choose a small task that matters beyond you. Not chores for survival. Something that leaves a mark that didn't exist yesterday. Cook a real meal for someone who needs it. Record a voice note of encouragement and send it to the friend you've been worried about. Fix the hinge that your partner keeps apologizing for. Write 1 page of a letter to a future child, a future self, or even to someone who hurt you, explaining what you learned and who you intend to become. It's not the size, it's the direction. Creation says, I can shape a corner of this world. Path to experiencing or encountering. Go meet life, not on a screen. Step outside and decide to notice 3 beautiful things, as if you were seeing this neighborhood for the last time. Call the oldest person in your family and ask 1 question you don't know the answer to. Bring a coffee to the bus driver. Visit the water, a park, a gallery, or a church somewhere that interrupts your habits. When you encounter beauty or love, your attention lifts out of the spiral. You're pulled, not pushed. Path 3, attitude towards suffering. This one is tough, but it's the anchor when the other 2 are out of reach. If the sadness won't let go, don't fight it like an enemy. Face it like a weight you can carry for the sake of something or someone. You can say to yourself, I will hold this ache with dignity so I can be gentle to the people I love. I will carry this evening's heaviness so that tomorrow someone at work feels a little less alone when they look into my eyes. Frankl called this the last of the human freedoms, to choose our attitude. When you attach suffering to a purpose, it transforms. You might wonder, won't this just make Monday show up faster? Maybe. But there's a twist, Frankl would point out. Dread grows in the dark. When you turn toward purpose, you turn on a light. The shape of your dread changes. And when Monday does arrive, you can meet it with a different question. Not, how do I get through this? But for whom will I show up? That shift matters. Let's get practical and simple. If your Sundays usually dissolve into numbness, try a meaning map. 3 columns on a piece of paper. Column 1, someone to serve. Column 2, a problem to solve. Column 3, a beauty to receive. Fill each column with exactly 1 line for this Sunday. Someone to serve. My lonely neighbor, a call at 5 p.m. A problem to solve. The wobbly shelf tightened the screws. A beauty to receive. Sunset from the roof. That's it. 3 lines. You don't need 40 goals. You need 3 anchors. When the sadness visits, put your hand on the paper. It isn't magic. It's a direction. Frankl also taught a technique called Dereflection. When you stare at your sadness, it grows. When you gently shift your gaze to a task, a person, a value, the sadness loses its grip. Dereflection isn't denial. It's a move of attention. If you catch yourself counting hours until Monday with a stomach knot, redirect that attention outward. Assemble a small care package for someone going through a breakup. Write a note to a teacher from your past who changed your life. Learn 1 paragraph of a poem and recite it aloud while you walk. You are more than a mood. You are a person capable of turning toward a purpose. And there's a sister technique, paradoxical intention. Anxiety often says, don't shake, don't blush, don't fail. We obey and we get smaller. Paradoxical intention flips it. If dread says, don't let this Sunday feel empty, you whisper back with a little humor, fine. Let's see how empty you can make it. The tension loosens. You stop trying not to feel, and the urge loses its power. Then you step into your 3 anchors. The point isn't to make light of pain. It's to unhook the fear that the feeling will swallow you. Now, about Monday. The Sunday neurosis is rarely just about a day. It's about the story we tell ourselves about our lives. If your job feels pointless, meaning doesn't demand you love every task. Frankl would ask, for whom does your work matter? Not in a vague motivational way. Name real faces. The customer who needs an honest invoice. The patient who needs 1 careful glance. The kid who needs the rent paid without you losing your soul. Take a photo of the face that represents your why and put it where you see it on Sunday night. Not to guilt yourself, to remind yourself, you are not serving a spreadsheet. You are serving a person. Here's a story that Frankl would recognize. A man once told me his Sundays were a tunnel. He'd sleep late, scroll, snack, scroll more, and feel worthless by dusk. We tried something small. Every Sunday at 4 p.m., he would play chess with the older neighbor down the hall who recently lost his wife. 30 minutes, nothing heroic. The first week, the sadness still visited, but it had a place to meet him at the table, with wooden pieces and quiet company. By the 3rd week, he said, I still feel heavy sometimes, but when I ring his doorbell, I feel the weight turn into something I can carry. That's dereflection, that's meaning. At this point, pause and look at your own weekend. Which part of Sunday feels most empty, and which of Frankl's 3 paths could meet it creating, experiencing, or attitude? Tell me in the comments what small change you'll try next Sunday. And if these ideas help, subscribe so more people can find their way back to meaning with us. There's another piece of this that's easy to miss: comparison. Social media turns Sunday into a highlight reel, 100 perfect brunches, 1,000 photos of people who look like they're never sad. Frankl would smile gently and say, "You are unique and irreplaceable. Meaning is personal. Your life isn't a race on a shared track. It's a call addressed to your name." He often quoted, "Live as if you were living already for the second time. Imagine you've been here before, and last time you wasted this day. What would you do differently?" It's not punishment. It's permission. Permission to choose with courage. Try a first light, first act ritual. When you wake on Sunday, before you touch your phone, do one small act of meaning, a single text of gratitude, a glass of water and a 1-minute prayer or quiet intention. Water a plant and say out loud the value you want to embody today. Patience, courage, kindness. Then move, not for steps, not for streaks, for your mind. Walk around the block and greet the day like a person, not an algorithm. As the afternoon approaches, schedule a meaning hour. 1 hour with your meaning map. Half for creation, half for experience. Bake, write, fix, call, visit. It helps to prepare it the night before. Resistance is loud, preparation is quiet strength. If your sadness says, "What if it doesn't help?" Borrow a line from Frankl. The point of life is not to be free of tension, but to be pulled by a worthy tension. You're not trying to erase feelings. You're giving them a frame. What if your Sunday sadness is tied to grief or to a situation you can't change? Then we lean on the third pathitude. Pick an honor ritual. Light a candle for the person you miss. Write their name on the page and one thing they taught you. Promise to carry that thing this week. If your pain is nameless, honor it anyway. Say, "This hurts, and I will use it to grow tenderness." This is not pretending, it is choosing. The world may not notice this choice. Your soul will. Let's talk about courage. Meaning doesn't eliminate fear. It gives fear a reason to be faced. Take a 3-minute courage step every Sunday. 3 minutes is enough. Send the email you're avoiding. Throw away one thing that keeps you stuck in an old story. Put your name on a volunteer list. Ask for help. 3 minutes. You're training a muscle. You can also try a meaning fast, not from food, from numbness. For 1 hour on Sunday, fast from the thing that dulls you, doom scrolling, casual drinking, mindless snacking, whatever turns the volume down on your spirit. Replace it with one of the 3 paths. You're not depriving yourself. You're clearing a space for your life to speak. Here's a quiet practice for late evening, when the light goes blue and the edges of the day blur. Write a Monday letter to yourself, 3 lines. What I will face, who I am doing it for, how I will carry myself. Example, I will face a crowded inbox and 2 hard conversations. I'm doing it for Maya, who needs me steady. I will carry myself with patience and good humor. Then place the letter where your morning eyes will meet it. You're giving Monday a face. Maybe you're thinking, I've tried habits. They don't stick. Frankl would ask a different question. Not how do I stick with this, but what is the worth of this? When the worth is real, habits become less about discipline and more about devotion. Choose one practice that feels worth it, not because it's trendy, but because it aligns with who you want to be, and hold it lightly. If you miss a week, you didn't fail. You simply begin again. Your meaning is patient. Let's not romanticize this. Some Sundays will still hurt. Some Mondays will still feel like a mountain, but you're not the same person facing them. You have a map, you have a why, and your why doesn't have to be grand. Frankl warned about existential frustration. that spike of emptiness that grows when we expect life to hand us a perfect purpose. Purpose is not handed out. It is discovered, bit by bit, through loving, creating, serving, and enduring with dignity. One more thing. If you feel ashamed for feeling sad for no reason, hear this. Shame is the wrong tool for meaning. Frankl saw people endure the unspeakable and still find a way to say yes to life. He also saw people in comfort who still suffered deeply because their lives had no direction. Pain without purpose is heavy. Pain tied to a purpose can become strength. And emptiness without purpose is a sign, not a verdict. It's your compass knocking. Tonight, if the heaviness returns, try this simple, human prayer. If you don't believe in prayer, let me use this. Use this ache to remember someone else's burden. Use it to soften your tone. Use it to choose one brave action. Then follow your meaning map. Call the neighbor. Tighten the screws. Watch the sky go pink, and tell it thank you. This is small. Small is not trivial. Small is how we steer. And when you crawl into bed, keep one more Frankl line by your side. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing. The last of the human freedoms to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. That freedom is yours on Sunday night. You may not control the morning. You may not control the past. But you can choose what you reach for when the sadness knocks. Reach for meaning, not perfection, not empty optimism, meaning. If you've listened this far, you already know the truth. Something in you wants more than distraction. Honor that. Next Sunday, draw your 3 columns. Choose your someone, your problem, your beauty. Take a 3-minute courage step. And when the old ache whispers, what's the point? Let Viktor Frankl answer for you. The point is not to feel good every moment. The point is to live a life that when you look back, you recognize as yours. Not easy yours. And that is enough to begin. So, if Sundays make you sad, don't turn away. Turn toward a small task of love, a moment of real experience, a dignified attitude toward what hurts. Your life will not transform in a single afternoon, but the compass will stop spinning. It will point, and step by step, you'll learn to walk that way through Sundays, into Mondays, into a life pulled by a why that no algorithm can provide. You're not alone, you're not late. The light is still here. Let's walk toward it together.